This is the Valley's news talk and podcasts. Talk Central Phoenix, a Central City radio station.
It's time for the Chips and Salsa Show.
The only show about Latinos for Latinos. And did we mention Latinos?
It's the Latísima.
Latinos come in all flavors, shapes, and sizes. You don't have to be Latino to enjoy chips and salsa.
People love chips and salsa.
It's time now for the Chips and Salsa Show. Da, 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 da. Thank you, Chipsters, for tuning in. My name is Alice Lara, and Don Jorge told me he'll be back next week. But guess what? We have the beautiful, the wonderful, my good friend, Patty Castillo Porter here to help.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me, Alice. It's always fun to be here.
We always have a blast. So today's like a chicas and salsa, chipsteras and salsa kind of show. What we're going to do is spend this first little segment, give you some announcements, set you up for the week and all that good stuff politically. And then the bulk of the show, we're going to bring in our friend Tim Foley. Tim is from Arizona border Recon. So those of you that follow our show, you'll remember Tim. He lives down south of the border in the Sierra Vista area and kind of an indirect help to our Border Patrol. Since everyone's so stuck on Ukraine right now, we thought let's cover the border. And
absolutely.
I know that you've been an activist with those issues as well, so I'm so excited about this show. It's going to be awesome.
Me too. We still have a crisis. It's at our border too.
That's right.
Never went away.
Absolutely.
You know, it's been about a year since I was first on here.
It has been a year.
It was March when I started my demonstrations, and I was ringing the alarm bells then, and everybody wasn't really paying attention. Yeah. And now, look what's happened. And I remember saying, it's coming to a town near you. And look at that.
And here it is.
It's here. Mm-hmm. It's everywhere.
Everywhere. And you were, Patty happens to live in the Ahwatukee area, and that's when they were bringing the buses in and taking them to hotels.
Yes.
And we talked to you almost every week for a long time.
Yes, we did, for months.
So we're going to get a good update on the border. And before we do that, though, first of all, I want to say thank you for tuning in. We're here every Tuesday at 4 p.m. And if you haven't yet, please download the Central City Radio app. That way, you'll get an alert when it's time for our show. And if you missed any part of it, you can go back and listen to it. Lots of good stuff happening there. And it's free. Totally, totally free. I have a lot of stuff to announce. But first, I want to say, our good friend, you know Brad and Brenda's in. Do you know Brad's in? I don't know if you know Brad.
I don't think I do.
Well, I just caught on. I can't keep up with everything, unfortunately.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. Brad and Brenda are having some health issues.
Okay.
So I just want to put a shout out for them and some prayers for them. They're very good patriots. He's been on the show.
Okay.
He's awesome. And, just have some good thoughts for him. Next week, we have a really great candidate. Do you know Hop Gwen? I bet you know him. He is going to be running again for the House, I think, Arizona Legislature. He's going to be our guest. Always
fun.
A great guest. Mm-hmm. Grew up in the Vietnam, so he knows firsthand what we should not do here in the United States. So I want to announce that next week you belong to a women's club, right?
Yes, I do.
Right.
Ahwatukee,
right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, my club, Greater Phoenix Republican Women, next week we're going to have a forum. I don't know. Actually, it's not a forum. I shouldn't say that. We're going to have Kimberly Yee and Jeff Wenninger.
Okay.
It's Arizona State Treasurer election. I know Kimberly Yee was running for governor, and now she's going to try to keep with her current position, which she's great at. And that's going to be Wednesday, March 9th. If you're interested in doing that, you can make advance reservations. You need to do that RSVP at gprw1958.org. I'm going to repeat that again. Again, that is Wednesday, March 9th. 5:30 check-in, 6:15 dinner. It's $36 a person, but you get a full dinner. You even get dessert. And it's really nice. It's down there at the Embassy Suites by Hilton on Thomas Road in Central. So just RSVP at gprw1958.org. I don't know if I'm going to make it to this particular one, but I might. And then the other thing going on tonight, actually, after our show, 40 Days for Life. I know you're familiar with 40 Days for Life.
Yes.
They're having a big opening mass because it's already time again. Tomorrow's Ash Wednesday.
Can you believe it?
Wow. And so tonight at 6 p.m. at St. Mary's Basilica, that's downtown. If you've never been to the Basilica, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Oh
Beautiful Basilica. That's at 231 North 3rd Street, so you have parking on Monroe and 5th Street. Sean Carney, who's with 40 Days for Life, President and CEO. This is an opening mass. Our bishop, Most Reverend Thomas Olmsted is going to be there, and Sean Carney is going to be a guest speaker with 40 Days for Life. Also, Mayra Rodriguez, you know Mayra, she's been on the show as well. She was a former Planned Parenthood director that sued Planned Parenthood and got, what, millions of dollars or something.
She deserved it.
Fantastic story there.
It's nothing for those people.
Right. You're so right on that. So I wanted to, and then, of course, tonight we have State of the Union address. You ready for that?
Unmasked. Did you hear that?
Oh, it's unmasked.
It's unmasked now.
How
All of a
convenient.
sudden, yeah.
Wow.
Virus is gone.
What happened? It's magic.
It's magical. Yeah, it existed yesterday, but somehow it does not exist today.
Boom. Here we go.
Yeah, so people are excited about that. They're looking for airlines to lift the mandate now, too, and I guess federal courts are still holding down. But for the most part, it's getting lifted. Imagine that.
Yeah, do you plan to watch or listen?
I don't know if I could stomach it.
Force yourself. You know, I keep hearing that from so many people, and of course, I kind of force myself.
Yeah, it's good to be informed, but it's difficult to listen to all the propaganda. There's a lot of problems, and I don't like being pandered to or lied to, and that's pretty much what he does. He's missing the big points. You know, we have the invasion at the border. He left Americans in Afghanistan. He's just turning his back on all the Ukraine people, citizens, and he wants more money. For what?
And that's basically the message that we will get. Yeah. Meanwhile, do you think he'll even talk about the border?
I doubt it. Or the mandates, people who lost their jobs. Or, both the vaccine mandate, too. I mean, a lot of people were affected by that.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. So he won't address any of that. It'll be interesting. I was listening to the Republican caucus earlier today in D.C., and they feel the same way. Like, you know what? We want to hear him talk about the border, our border. We want to hear him talk about the economy, inflation, energy, being energy independent again. So now
Which we can do.
We totally were independent, right? So now we're enriching Russia to use all of that money against us. So we're in a dire situation, to say the least.
It is so messed up. And you could even talk about the northern border, too.
Yes. Oh, the convoy. Convoy's coming out Ahwatukee. I'm so excited.
Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know.
So it'll be coming through Ahwatukee. We're going to be congregating above the 202 overpass Thursday between 9 and 11. Of course, it's fluid, but I believe they're leaving Deer Valley earlier than that. So I've got friends texting me at Deer Valley Airport saying, okay, tell me when they're here. So that's
very
exciting.
Cool.
Yeah.
So it starts at Deer Valley when?
They'll be driving through Deer Valley. I'm not sure exactly when they're going, where they're staying that, but they're coming through Ahwatukee, Pecos Park Thursday. So we're parking in the parking lot in Pecos Park at 9 a.m., and they're supposed to be coming through anywhere between 9 and 11 a.m.
And it's probably better not to know exactly sometimes for good reasons.
Yes.
And, okay, so coming up on our first break, when we come back, we're going to bring in Tim Foley with Arizona Border Recon. Get ready to be educated big time about the border, specifically Arizona as well. I'm Alice Lara, and today I'm here with
Patty Castillo-Porter
and the Chicas in Salsa. We'll be right back with the Chips and Salsa show here on Central City Radio, Talk Central Phoenix. In the Molcajete, don't go away. We got to guac on some more.
The Valley's home for podcasts, Talk Central Phoenix.
Guest is so excited, and my co-host, Patty Castillo-Porter, is so excited for him to be here. So that's what you heard. I'm Alice Lara. This is the Chips and Salsa Show, and we broadcast live every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Tell your friends about us. We exist because Don Jorge, who will be back next week, we are Latinos who, guess what? We are Republicans. We used to be Democrats. We're conservative, hardcore Republicans. We believe in a secure border that we're going to talk to very shortly about with Tim. So what I first want to introduce Tim Foley, welcome. Thank you. Welcome back to the Chips and Salsa Show.
Back again.
Awesome. I'm going to read a little bit about Arizona Border Recon. And so if you just go to the website, it has who we are. Basically provide intelligence and security services in partnership with the United States Customs and Border Patrol. You consist of former military, law enforcement, and private security Americans unified under a guiding principle: service. Our team took an oath, and that oath is taken seriously, highly trained, highly motivated, coming together under a common goal. Continuing the service to our fellow citizens has no greater honor for us. Formed in 2011, AZBR has been a mainstay along the southwestern border where others have come and gone. Our focus on obtaining intelligence through reconnaissance operations sets us apart from many other groups. We take on the challenge of locating and documenting the smuggling activities and players within our borders. So I've known Tim for a while, and if you want to really know what's going on, now everybody's stuck on Ukraine. Man, you can't hardly flip the channel and you see Ukraine. A lot of it's, they just keep giving you the same information. But I thought, you know what, Tim, you're going to be in town? And he was in town. Ta-da! So we've got to have him on to give us an update. So I kind of gave a little background about your organization. Anything that I've missed that you'd like to tell the audience about?
Well, I think the 2011 is when we started the website. I'm going into my 13th year doing this.
Wow.
It's all funded by myself and donations.
Thank you.
And like I said, most of my guys are combat veterans who basically, when they get out, the government boots them to the curb, and then they don't have a purpose. That's
but they have good skills for this.
Oh, it takes a certain person to be able to sit on a mountaintop for days at a time in 0-degree weather and in 120-degree weather.
Wow.
And we have a motto down there, and it's embrace the suck, and it all sucks. Between the terrain, the plants, the insects, the animals, the climate, everything down there sucks. But
now you are basically at the Arizona border around the Sierra Vista area?
No,
we're
about 35 miles west of Nogales.
Oh, okay.
So we're in between Nogales and Sassabee. But it's an area where anyone coming through, and I can come down and see it, and you'll know that there ain't no women and children coming through where we're at. It's brutal. Brutal. And it's where people who don't want to get caught come through. They're not doing like they do over in Sassabee, where it's flat land and just
walking,
going through the holes in the huge holes in the fence, and walking up the border patrol and turning themselves in. These people are trying to sneak through. They're multiple deported. They've been deported for child sex crimes, rapes, murders. They're MS-13. It's the worst of the worst.
Are you still seeing the bulk of them are South American nationalities, or is there more?
It's kind of hard to tell. We've had Middle Easterns come through, and I've turned video over to people in D.C., and the guy who was on the video, they did facial recognition on him and found that he was a Syrian on a watch list.
Wow.
And they arrested him 2 months after I gave him the video. And so the hard part with Middle Eastern is they have the same physical characteristics of Hispanic.
Yes, absolutely.
Dark hair, dark eyes, dark complexion. So the only way you can tell if they're Middle Eastern and not Hispanic is when we issue a command in Spanish. Say, like, sit down. You'll see everybody sit down, but one or two over here are watching, and then they mimic. Then it's like, okay, let's do this again. And you do it, and they're watching. It's like, okay, you guys need to sit over here. And then we call Border Patrol and tell them we have, they're called SIAs, Special Interest Aliens.
So how are these individuals being processed?
We have no clue.
So maybe Biden's releasing them back into the population?
It's a damn good possibility. Border Patrol right now has 20,000 agents. 50% of those agents, because we're having right now, and they're estimating it'll continue through the year, an average of 9,000 a day coming across the border. So out of the 20,000 agents, 10,000 are now taken off the line and doing paperwork, processing.
Right. And babysitting.
Yeah. And so we've now affectionately called Border Patrol the green and white Uber.
Right.
It's becoming so hectic over, say, in Yuma. Everybody keeps talking about Del Rio.
Yuma got hit really hard. They all went down there.
The first week of the fiscal year, Del Rio had 5,500 come through. Yuma had 5,000.
5,000
in 1 week. And they're becoming so impatient because Border Patrol is so slammed that they're becoming so impatient. They're calling cabs and Ubers to pick them up at the border to drive them to the Border Patrol station.
Is that with the debit card the United Nations have given them?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That we, as the United States of America, fund.
You're making all this stuff up, Tim. Come on.
Yeah.
He's not making it up.
They're getting $175 a month on a debit card when they cross over out of Guatemala.
That's
from the UN.
From the UN.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable. The audience, I know you don't get enough of this information. There are certain sites that I try to follow, and then, of course, Tim's always really good. But please, if you know somebody who doesn't believe this stuff's happening at the border, tell them about this particular presentation. Tell them to go to Arizona Border Recon and to tune in right now, because this is just the beginning of information that you're going to get, because Tim's right down there seeing everything happening as it happens.
Yeah. And to make matters worse down there, Biden is now asking for Border Patrol volunteers to go to Poland to vet the Ukrainians coming across the border.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't surprise me.
No.
Because clearly his priority is not Americans.
No.
It's been his pocket, Biden's son's pockets, and all the other crooked politicians are at D.C.
Well, did you see?
They don't care about us.
Today it came out that the Secret Service somehow managed to lose all of Hunter Biden's travel
they can't
records.
find it now.
Yeah,
wow, how did that happen?
Between 2015 and 2019.
So convenient. It's unbelievable.
And it's all tied with Ukraine.
Absolutely.
People are being fed a huge line of BS on what's going on over there.
And it's also diversion.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a diversion. Get people looking over here when we still have our problem at the border. We've got elections, midterms that are very, very important. So some of the people are riding those coattails with just talking the narrative about Ukraine. But let's not forget our J6 prisoners.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
They're still in prison. We have major problems on our soil. We should not be going to any other country until we fix our own. We have homeless veterans. We have just homelessness, mentally ill. And for the fact, and they're coming over the illegals and they're getting better treatment, healthcare, mental health care, housing. I know someone that works at the St. Vincent de Paul Food Bank, and he's like, we have a menu now for Afghans. We're catering to their diet. It's like, well, what about our homeless veterans?
Yeah.
Maybe they have a gluten-free allergy that they need to get addressed.
I don't know. This is not the country I grew up in.
No.
I can't even, I'm afraid to go on the internet anymore because it can't get any stupider.
Oh, it can.
And every day they prove me wrong on this.
So you've been doing this for a while. Can you you probably can say this is the worst that you've ever seen it, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah. There was one time when we first started, it was Obama was in, and his first term, and the groups back then were huge. 300 plus in a group, they didn't even care.
Wow.
But once they got a handle on it, say like the last year of Trump, only 400,000 came across.
The entire year.
Right. This first year for Biden,
instead of every month,
we're looking at 2 million.
Yeah, average 150,000 a month.
And my biggest thing is the past year we've had 250,000 unaccompanied migrant children. Now, how did 250,000 children make it all the way from Guatemala to the U.S. border, which is 2,200 miles, and they go through 18 different cartel territories, and they show up on the border looking like they're ready to go to school?
Exactly.
Yeah, right. They don't
Do you know
even
why they're doing
dust.
this? Remember how everybody's up in arms because of the critical race theory, and guess what? They got 250,000 new fresh minds to mold.
Yeah.
And,
well, let's not,
they'll do it.
dismiss the potential, the sex trafficking that's happening.
Well, yeah.
That's the other part of it.
Who's doing the DNA testing on these kids?
Well, do you know the administration cannot find 85% of the kids they placed in sponsors' homes?
They just
I'm not
disappeared.
surprised.
They just disappeared.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
The government
It's
is complicit in human trafficking, child sex trafficking,
pretty much funding
drug
it.
smuggling, everything.
It's sick.
It is.
It is sick. I like your hat, by the way.
Oh, you're
it's very
Do you have a camera?
appropriate.
Yeah, just look right
Cameras
there
over
at the
there. Very
camera so
appropriate
everybody
for the
can
current
take a
administration.
look at his hat. Yeah.
You can't read it.
I was talking to you for about 5 minutes when you got here. I'm like, oh man, I like your hat. I couldn't read the whole thing.
I think they probably sold out as
Wow.
soon as it came out.
It's nice because it's subliminal, and nobody, unless
You get it.
put two and two
No.
together.
Yeah, you have to
Because
really.
Yeah.
most people are so ignorant, they don't even know what 46 is.
It's true.
Well, what's 46? And they're going, A, B, C, D.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
DG.
What does that
What
mean?
is
What's that
DG?
secret code you have, Tim?
Yeah. So let me ask you this. So I have opportunities many a times to stand before our potential candidates that are running for AG, for governor, for senator. You know, we were talking about campaigns that are happening. What would be the most helpful to you that you can see down at the border in stopping
In other
this
words,
influx?
tell her what we should ask the people to directly
I
tell
know
them.
who
Yes.
you should have on. He's running against who we affectionately call the cartel's congressman. He's running against Raul.
Guess what? Guess
Louis
what?
Pizzolo.
We had him
I
on
love
2
him.
weeks ago.
He
I
is
couldn't
the
be
only
here.
one who came down to the border
He's
with me.
awesome.
And his campaign even told him, stay away from him, he's bad, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, no, he's a constituent. And if anybody knows about the border, it's him. So I need to see what he sees.
I'm so glad that you mentioned that. So I couldn't be here. I had to work a special project that day, but Sid de la Fuente interviewed him for us. And he also is going to come back. Mike Fegenbong helped me connect with him. So yes, and he is a dynamic guy.
He's awesome. +100 different countries. It's about sustainability. We cannot sustain this. In the first 6 months of last year, we spent $6 billion on those unaccompanied minors.
That's insane.
We are already now, with the grants that is given to the religious organizations.
That's another topic. Okay, so in fact, I'm going to cut you right there because we got about 30 seconds. When we come back, we got plenty to talk about. We just got started. We just got started.
It's a rich topic.
Absolutely. I'm Alice Lara. I'm here with Phil and co-host
Patty Castillo-Porter.
And our wonderful guest today is Tim Foley with Arizona Border Recon. And man, we just got started. In the Molcajete today on the Chips and Salsa Show, Central City Radio, Talk Central Phoenix. Don't go away. We'll be right back with more.
This is the Valley's News Talk and Podcasts. Talk Central Phoenix, a Central City radio station.
Okay, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. So mommy's gonna teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left, with shoelaces.
Because like my dad's Latino and my mom is white, so does that mean I can only listen to like half of Chips and Salsa?
That's the smartest thing I've ever heard anyone say about anything.
And we are back with the Chips and Salsa Show. I am one of your hosts today, Alice Lara, here with
Patty Castillo-Porter.
Thank you, Patty Castillo-Porter, for filling in today for Don Jorge. He'll be back next week, he says, and if not, I'm going to have you on speed dial. So it's a Chicas and Salsa show today with our wonderful guest, Tim Foley, Arizona Border Recon. And, you know, a lot of the show sometimes is during the break. We have some really good, and I'm going to toss it to Patty here in a second with, she's got a great question. But all of the costs that happen with this, and it's amazing. But even if you put aside all the money and the fact that now really Americans, we're almost like second-class citizens compared to this elite class of illegal immigration. The bottom line has always been for me, rule of law, because it's in your face that all this just doesn't matter anymore. And once that happens, I mean, man, our country, like you were saying, this is like our last chance. If we don't get this right, man, Where's our country going to go?
Well, and I do have a couple questions.
And I'm going to toss it to you.
Well, in to bounce off of that, there are 4 cities right now that are allowing illegals to vote in their local elections.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that.
Unbelievable. So Arizona is only one of 2 states that has it in their constitution that you have to be a legal citizen to vote. Thank God. I thought I wanted to move out of Arizona if this thing doesn't flip, but now I'm staying. But that's a horrible. But more than that, we were talking during the break about what's the plug. I talked to a lot of sheriffs. I've been down to the border. I demonstrated, as you all know, the illegal aliens. And I've talked to Sheriff Lamb. I've talked to Sheriff Daniels, and they're saying, Patty, what do we do with them? We can apprehend them, but we can't sustain them. So now we've got a problem with just collecting the illegals, and then what do you do with them? Like ship them and put them on a bus? Is that not possible? What's the fix?
The fix is it's part of the problem is the Border Patrol itself. It's become too huge, too much of a bureaucracy. They've turned it into a union. So you can't get fired for anything. They need to change the job description. And in the job description, because in the Border Patrol, by their own numbers, 25 to 30% of Border Patrol is on the take of the cartel.
Yeah.
So to change that, they need to sign a piece of paper that says, we can look at your banking and your phone records any damn time we want to yank that corruption out of there. Because myself and my guys, when we're down there, we have something we want to give to somebody, but who do we trust?
Right.
Did we tell you, and all of a sudden you, as soon as you get the next curve around the corner, you're calling the cartel going, hey, don't do this. Mm-hmm. The other is they need to change the job description where, they're doing it wrong. The border, we classify it as a war because it's going on 24/7. Mm-hmm. You don't fight a war with a shift mentality, which is what the Border Patrol is doing, or a government, I shouldn't say. They have 3 shifts a day. And they've never changed those times. So the cartel knows exactly when they're coming in, exactly when they're going out.
That's something so simple I never thought about. So like a fire department, the guys stay there.
They stay there 3 days on, 4 days off. 4 days on, 3 days off. That's what needs to happen. You're not going to... Down where I live, they're coming from Davis-Monthan Air Force Base, which is the east side of Tucson. So it takes them over 2 hours to get down to where my town is, and then from there, it's another hour to get down to the border.
Wow. So how about drones? Why aren't they using drones or any of that technology?
They do use drones. They get the Predator drones, but they're not Predators because they have no Hellfires on them. But they're flying out of Fort Huachuca. But they'll post the numbers once a year. Oh my God, we flew 10,000 hours of drone on the border this past year.
And did what with it?
Well, you look at 10,000 hours, it sounds like a lot. It's a 2,000-mile border.
Yeah.
So that's 5 hours.
Right.
Per mile. Divided by 365. So what they do is they fly up, fly back, take a picture. If there's anything changes,
and then by that time,
it's a waste.
It's become like another government program, just a waste.
We have,
what it is.
You know, the military-industrial complex. Well, we have the border industrial complex. Did you see recently they're touting the new robot dog they want to put on the border?
Yes, I've seen that. I've
seen that. Stupid idea is that? How long do you?
It's because it's a binary thing now.
I'll go out there and take one and take it home. The cartel's going to come across the border and go,
hey, this is a cool toy.
Yeah. And then we'll strap bombs to it and send them on back.
It's part of that critical race theory. You got to include everybody.
Well, the government, their clue or their thought process on everything is, let's go high tech and let's keep throwing money at it. It's never going to work.
Nothing gets.
You have to do it like we do. When my guys come out, we'll sit out there. We sit out there for 7 to 10 days at a time.
Wow.
We don't go in. We don't go out. We don't go. Yeah. We sit, and you watch, and you plug the holes. This way, you're as putting it in a military sense, 2 ways you judge you're winning a war. You occupy territory and you occupy the high ground.
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing either one, or at least the government's not doing either one.
You guys are.
The cartel is, and then we do. So we get up there right against them and say, look, bring it.
So how do you feel about some of the governors or candidates for governors are talking about, what is that? We're like creating a militia or marshalizing, deputizing people like your group. How would you feel about that, where you've got some power now behind?
I've BORTAC, which is Border Patrol Special Operations, they've seen us out there before, and I've had some of them sit there and go, we would love to see what you could do with our budget, with what you're doing now.
I would love to see that.
You guys, because we have to do it as cheap as possible, because it's coming out of our pocket. But so I've got, brainiacs. Mm-hmm. And they'll go, dude, we can do this. And it's like, well, you figure it out and I'll pay for it somehow. And they figure out this stuff, and Border Patrol shows up and they're like, holy cow.
But unofficially, you are not, just to keep it clear for our audience, you're not part of the Border Patrol.
No.
You help them.
Yep.
But you're not paid employees. It's all volunteer.
Right.
So if we get a governor in that has the cojones to do what the 10th Amendment said we can do, and First Amendment Article, 9, that also talks about that war going on.
Mm-hmm.
And if there was, would you welcome a conversation to include your group into some type of more formal?
The problem is that I've reached out to every politician out there. I've spoken to Trump Jr., I've spoken to the daughter, I've spoken to the campaign manager, I've spoken to everybody. Mm-hmm. General Flynn, Wendy Rogers, blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on and on who I've talked to. Everybody knows who we are.
Yeah.
But because the media has portrayed us as some racist, Nazi, gun-toting, baby-killing organization, nobody wants to get anywhere near us. Which is why I love Luis, is because he told him, I don't care. I need to talk to this guy. Politicians, they'll say whatever. That's why Trump got elected. People get tired of hearing politicians, we need to be tough on the border, we need to, and then when, Carrie Lake, she sounds good. Mm-hmm. I've invited her down to see what I see. Instead, she just did the typical photo op with 2 big Mac and security dudes up against the fence, and I went to this little border town. The little border town, that's where I used to live. So
you're inviting her again to come out there. What about, have the other gubernatorial candidates gone out?
Nobody.
Taking your invitation?
Nobody.
So she's the only one who actually went down there.
Nobody's ever running for Congress or anything has ever accepted my invitation.
You're asking them on a ride-along, basically.
I'm asking them right now on the radio, you want to see what's really happening? Come see me. I will give you a personal tour, and I will provide the security. Because my guys know what the hell is going on down there. And my guys are very good.
We should take the Chipster show on the road.
Take the Chipster show on the road.
The last couple weeks ago, I had 2 journalists out of Wisconsin, guy and a female. And they said, well, we want to see what's going on. I said, all right, I'll take you down there. Well, there's a spot down there where I've got 18 armed cartels sitting on the hilltop. They've been in there. I first saw them there the beginning of November. Now they've built bunkers. These guys are entrenched.
They moved in.
And so I set up my spotting scope where I know that I can't be seen, but we can see them. So I have them, they're going, oh my God. Okay, let's go. We're out of here. It's like, wait a second.
And you waved to the cartels.
I still got to go put out my cameras. Well, how long's that going to take? I go, we got to walk a half mile or so up the trail.
Now, we're getting ready for another break. Do you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, what is that YouTube channel?
Arizona Border Recon.
Okay, nice and simple.
You can see some of what we see. We don't post everything because
you can't.
Our neighbors to the south,
Right.
Yes.
watch us.
You gotta be smart.
No, I'm always, I don't know how you do it.
And I'll tell you about my phone conversation with them when we come back.
Great. So when we come back in the Molcajete, we have Tim Foley with Arizona Border Recon. I'm Alice Lara with
Patty Castillo Porter.
In the Molcajete. Don't go away. We'll be right back with the Chips and Salsa Show here on Central City Radio Talk Central Phoenix.
This is the Valley's News Talk.
The best hat.
Oh, yes. So
Appropriate.
if you can't figure it out, let me know, because you should be able to, especially if you follow our show.
Yeah.
We want to give another plug because we were just talking again about Luis Pozzolo, who we have interviewed on the show, and he said he would come back because I didn't get to meet him because I wasn't here. So yes, and we, I think like if he can't win down there, man, I don't know who can.
He's got the guts. He's got the guts to do what needs to be done, like you were sharing. He's been down to just not the border wall where all the commercials are done, but grass deeply entrenched where the cartel are. That says a lot.
Yeah.
And we need people like that, and he's organic.
Yep.
Not bought out by special interests. He's a legal immigrant, like you were saying.
Yep.
I've heard great things about him. I have friends in Tucson that are volunteering for him, and they're like, he's legit.
There are no
I talked
negatives.
to him last week, and he said he was in Yuma. Yuma's big for that district. If you can take Yuma, you can pretty much nab most of it. But he said it was amazing because when he went to speak, the people there were going, guess who came down here for the first time ever? Raul. So that shows that Raul is running
I like
scared.
that.
And Luis, he goes into South Tucson, going door to door, knocking, speaking in Spanish.
Yep,
he's hitting it.
Well,
Latinos are not happy with what's happening.
Nobody is.
No, I mean, it's
Democrats
just human
are.
nature, right? I mean, we don't want danger and the drugs. I mean, a lot of people struggle with addiction. The Latino culture, the Native American culture has a strong tendency for addiction, and we don't need any more of that crap up here. Tempting our children. And then all the cartel, we know about the cartel. That is, coyotes, that is not new.
Yeah.
But it's gotten a lot more vicious, and it's very serious.
Absolutely. It's turning even more. So this is our last segment. What have we not hit on? What is something you want to really communicate out there? And of course, you have an open invite to come here when you're in town.
Oh, well, thank you. And all I want to tell is any politicians running for Congress or governor in a border state, you want to see what's going on, come see me.
They'll show you your own personal tour guide of the southern border.
I want to give him a plug about, we need to support organizations like this. He shared that a lot of the expenses are coming out of their pockets. These are veterans. These are men that have already served our country, protected our borders, and now they're literally protecting the border again. We need to make sure we support groups like this. Please go to his website. Can you share your website?
The problem is it's ArizonaBorderRecon.org, but the problem is we've been booted by PayPal after 10 years.
Oh, how about Give, Send, Go?
We have a good Give, Send, Go.
Okay.
And those people are phenomenal.
Give, Send, Go, please.
So that's
Arizona
where they can
Border
find
Recon, Give, Send, Go.
So PayPal booted you off because...
Oh, yeah. I thought...
Because you're doing the good work.
Because we are violating their terms of agreement.
Oh, that too.
And it's because...
Like the truckers' convoy.
A bunch of liberals called in and started complaining, oh, they're Nazis.
Oh, my gosh. And, I'm willing to bet, ladies and gentlemen, that you might have a few Latino Americans on your crew.
Yeah, it's our second largest makeup.
Maybe? Yeah. Okay,
maybe just a couple.
But no, you're just,
No. My number two's
full disclosure.
Half Hispanic. And I've got one coming out in 2 weeks. He's also a legal citizen from Uruguay.
Ándale.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, yeah, you can call me whatever you want. I know who I am.
There you go.
Well, name calling, sticks and stones, right? Unfortunately, the ignorant people listen to that.
I have a tattoo on the back of my neck for the left. It says Dilligaff.
I thought you might get a new tattoo, something like your hat says.
Yeah.
So I have to ask you, because tonight is State of the Union.
State of the dumpster fire?
Yeah. No masks. No masks. It's optional.
Isn't that amazing? It's a poof.
Right?
It's gone.
We were
All
talking
of a sudden it was gone.
It's insane.
Yeah. We are doing a fundraiser on the 26th of March at Dillon's Ranch in Morristown, right off of the 60.
Okay.
It's from 10 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night.
Okay.
There's going to be bands, there'll be speakers, I'll be speaking, I'll be showing videos.
Nice. Everybody's invited, right?
Everybody's invited. Even politicians that are running for office.
We got to get them out there. Yeah.
Open invitation.
Yeah, we've also got a gentleman who's going to speak who's been down to the border with us, and he has a book out called Codename Johnny Walker. He's an Iraqi, now he's a U.S. citizen. He was an Iraqi interpreter for the Navy SEALs.
Wow.
He did 1,000 missions with the Navy SEALs.
Wow, man.
This guy's more American than a lot of damn Americans.
Man, yeah.
He'll be there speaking. He's seen because we've started a veterans nonprofit organization. We bought 10 acres of land down where I'm at, and we're developing it to put little, I call them bud huts, where you can come stay the night in a kitchen and dining facility and a bath facility. And so we can get veterans out of the city because, you know, with PTSD, your mind's running 10,000 miles an hour, and get them out there to just stare at the stars and hear nothing except for coyotes.
What a great idea. That is
well, you know,
awesome.
I mean, the reason we started it was because in the past 3 or so years, I've had 6 of my guys come to me and say, "You saved my life."
Wow.
So I said, well, if we can save a few, why can't we save more?
Absolutely.
And we have to quit relying upon the government for everything.
Right.
We have to do it ourselves. We've lost sight of what it means to be a community anymore. You know, I remember when I was a kid, you know, you step outside the house, I'm going to tell your mom.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
The
you
whole
couldn't get
block
away.
was your neighbor,
Oh,
was
yeah.
your backyard.
Yeah.
You just knew be home by dark.
Yep.
And
Nowadays, people are just like
Everybody
this.
knew you.
Right.
Got the
No, and
blinders
they
on.
did know. They were like, your
yeah.
mom was looking for you.
Well,
Patty?
Yeah, that was it.
so we started a veterans nonprofit, and that'll also be part of the fundraising at the event on the 26th. And it actually was started, the fundraiser was by a group called Citizens Restoring Liberty out of Oregon.
Huh, really?
I met them while I was speaking the Clay Clark thing. I can't even remember the name.
Quick Clark event. Wake Up America. Wake Up America.
Reawaken or whatever. Yeah. Well, I met them while I was in Tulsa, because I spoke there. I spoke in Tampa. I spoke in Salt Lake City. I spoke in, you know,
He's available to speak, if you can get that. He's a very good
and I'm
speaker.
not afraid to speak.
Maybe he'll wear the hat, too, if you ask him.
I mean, the largest crowds I've spoken to are 10,000 plus.
Wow.
You know.
This is a
We should
message
have you
that
be
needs
our
to get out.
headliner at our meetings.
It's a good idea.
That'll wake up the Congress.
Oh, I even got PowerPoints.
That's a good idea.
But I got to change the PowerPoints because the numbers are changing so drastically by the
Put a multiplier in there.
Yeah.
So do you think that there is there are more of a cartel presence there? They don't need to. I mean, they're pretty sophisticated. These cartels are very sophisticated.
They're not really sophisticated. No? They're just well organized.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
well,
they're basically just like the Taliban and
really good
stuff in Afghanistan. You know, we keep resorting to high tech, where we're getting our butts kicked with either a cell phone, a two-way radio, and a pair of binoculars. You know, I mean, that's how this has to change. Is they need to change this 8-hour shift BS. They need to go down for multiple days. They need to put bases down along the border and get out there. It's boots on the ground.
Well, the problem is what you're saying is it makes too much sense, Tim.
Yeah.
That's what happens?
Well, then you can't get more money, you know. Border Patrol, the higher-ups, they hate us because they don't like being called out. Mm-hmm. So Border Patrol, their higher-ups, they go, arrests are up, it's working. Arrests are down, it's working.
Yeah.
So no matter way you spin it, they're still going to get their bonus.
But you speak with the agents,
the line
and
agents.
They're in agreement with you.
Yeah.
And they're the ones out there.
Yeah.
Did you see that recent Border Patrol video?
Which one?
Where one of the I'm going to call them combat people, the linemen, was challenging his superior and asking him.
Oh, yeah.
And he's... Yep, and it was... Somebody videotaped it. Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
He turned his back on Majorca.
Yes, Majorca was down there.
And Majorca said, you may turn your back on me, but I'll never turn my back on you. And the agent turned back around. He goes, you already have turned your back on us.
Perfect.
And Majorca is a Cuban immigrant.
I know.
He's a Castro Cuban. And did you see who they put in the Department of Energy?
Remind me.
Trans guy?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, they're turning it in.
The drag queen.
Yeah.
Right.
They're hiring all of the old Ringling Brothers circus performers.
And a lot of our law enforcement, whether it be Border Patrol or just, the blue here in town, with all the mandates or the defund the police threats, they're leaving.
Yeah.
So what are we left with? Soft.
Well, that's the other thing. So you have all this
binary
happening.
people.
You're right. And then Phoenix, I just read the article. Rachel Alexander, our good friend, wrote that. And it was something outrageous, like there's one police officer for every 10,000 people or something in Phoenix.
Yeah.
It's down.
Yeah. I mean, what the heck, guys?
They're going to other
County's
cities.
Pretty safe. Sheriff Lamb's
I know.
hiring up a storm.
Doing a great job.
I want to live in Pinell County. I told my husband, it's not too far from Ahwatukee. We just cross freeway down a little bit and we're there.
But then you have to do that.
I know.
We're down to our last few minutes here, Tim. I can't thank you enough for coming in to do the show. Like I say, anytime you're in town again, give me a holler, or you can, feel free to give us reports. I know Patty was doing that when she's doing her protest down there. If there's an update, need to get out, we're happy to help you. And we do have to get down there. I know it's tough.
Well, and
I would love to go down there.
Temps right now are not bad.
Yeah, right now we're in vacation season.
We're still dropping into the mid-20s at night down there.
Yeah, because you're, 4,000 elevation or something close to that.
Yeah. My house sits at 3,800.
So
the veterans property sits at 4,000 even. And that's where we are. It's in the mid-20s. And then you go down to where the line is. And that's what we call the border. When you get down to the line, all the mountains droop down to the line, so all that cold air funnels down in there, and it gets 0.
Oh, wow.
Do we have time? You were telling me a story right before. How much time we got, Rock? 2 minutes? Okay.
2 minutes.
You were telling me a story before we came in. You had an encounter.
Oh, the phone call.
Oh, 1 minute?
Okay, I'll do it real quick.
Go ahead.
All right.
Do it quick.
About 6 months ago, the cartel called me. And everybody goes, how do you know what's cartel? I said, dude, they get billions of dollars. If they want to find out, they know exactly who I am and everything. So they called me up and I said, do you actually know where I'm operating? And they told me exactly where I was operating. Because we don't post anything of where we're at. We don't post videos with names of anywhere. And so he told me exactly where it was. And so I go, well, what can I do for you? He goes, well, my boss is offering you $15,000 a month to go away. I said, well, how's that work? He goes, well, somebody will deliver to you a bank card. Every month, there'll be $15,000 put in there. And so I said, well, you know what? That shows a lot of respect for reaching out like that, but tell your boss no. Because that'll make me a part of the problem, not a part of the solution. 2 weeks later, they called me, or he asked me, do you have any other questions before I bring it back to the boss? I said, yeah, just one. He goes, what's that? I go, where did you come up with $15,000 a month? You know what he told me? That's what we pay our Border Patrol agents.
Wow. And we got to cut it right there. That's a great ending. Thank you, Tim Foley, Arizona Border Recon. Please support this group. They're fantastic. Yes. We'll have you back. Call us anytime. I'm Alice Lara. You are
Patty Castillo-Porter.
Thank you for being here today. This has been the Chips and Salsa Show here on Central City Radio, Talk Central Phoenix. Thank you, Julian and Rock. And we'll rock again next Tuesday, 4 p.m. here on the Chips and Salsa Show.
Welcome to Calvin's Barbershop.
You all got to see this.